Hey YouTube, Sergeant Savinelli. Smoking a Savinelli saxophone with some Edward G. Robinson. So before the holidays, the Artful Codger did a holiday blend suggestion. And the subject of that suggestion was Edward G. Robinson's mixture from the Sutliff Tobacco Company. I value Ben's advice. He's got similar tastes to me, all but one. We know what that is. So I went out and I bought a tub, just based on his recommendation. I figure what's the worst that could happen? I go through the tub. It is what it is. Or I try it, I don't like it, I give it away. Minor stuff. I generally don't like to buy little bits and pieces, and I'll tell you why. I always find that in a tub, that the true marriage of the tobacco and all of its components tends to be a little bit more true than it does in the smaller batches. Classic example, half and half, all right? If you buy a pouch of half and half, it does not taste anywhere near what it tastes like coming out of a tub. Now, you would think that it's all made in the same big vat or however they make it, big batches, and some of it goes into the pouch, some of it goes into the tub. Well, that's all well and good, but the pouch is like that big. The tub is like that big, right? So the more you pack into an enclosed, tight area, I think that helps with the flavoring a little bit better. I've always found it to be different, so I generally don't buy half and half in the pouch. I always buy it in the tub, and I enjoy it more that way. Not to say that the pouch is bad. It's not bad, but it's just not the same. So I usually tend to buy bigger quantities, even for like tasting, because I find that the bigger tubs will give you more of a true rendering of what's supposed to be in there or what it's supposed to be like. I gotta pack this thing down a little bit more. There we go. So, I did a quick video right after the tub showed up, and I haven't been able to put this stuff down since then. And I thought it warranted a little bit more of an in-depth review, because it is a very, very good tobacco. According to, I'm going to put my cheaters on because I can't see and getting old and all of that stuff. It's the 26th today. In 2 days, I'll be celebrating yet another one of those yearly events that comes up, and it makes you a little bit more gray and a little less in the eyeballs and that type of stuff. How old will I be? 4011. So, Edward G. Robinson, according to the Sutliff Company, it's an aromatic. There's no doubt about it. It's supposed to consist of black Cavendish, burley, gold Cavendish, and Latakia. Topped with alcohol, liquor, and cinnamon. I think alcohol and liquor were supposed to be the same thing, but specifically, I taste rum. All right, to this day, I taste rum. It's a ribbon cut. Real easy to pack, real easy to light. It stays lit pretty good if you pack it right. It's all one of those user operations. And, you got to pull on it once in a while. If you let it, if you start yapping and like I do, it'll go out. Okay, so I went to tobaccoreviews.com. You got to kind of take them with a grain of salt. And I'll tell you why. people that give honest reviews generally give honest reviews. And they generally temper their criticisms with positives as well as negatives. It's always good to show. Listen, there's plenty of tobaccos out there that are just made for a certain palate. They're only made for a certain type of smoker. Certain tastes and things like that. And that's going to be with any kind of anything, whether it be food, whether it be tobacco. You're going to have people that like and people that dislike. Generally, what I find on tobacco reviews is an awful lot of tobacco snobs. Specifically with this stuff. Although there weren't a lot of people that bashed this blend, there were enough. What I did notice was the people that did bash the blend, you could tell just by reading their review that they were tobacco snobs. Okay, here they are smoking something that was made to be an OTC for all intensive purposes, right? And they're going to review it as if they're comparing it to, a boutique tobacco. You can't do that. You got to take it for what it is. And it's a really good blend. A lot of people complained about the bite. I don't get any bite from it at all. None. Zero. There is zero bite to this in my taste. All right? But there are people out there that do have tender tongues. And if you are a tender-tongued person, you tend to kind of pick and choose what you smoke, how you smoke it, how you smoke it's got a lot to do with it. There are blends that are mild that most people don't have any problems with, that if you pull on them too hard, they'll scorch your tongue. This stuff here, I find, I've smoked it hard, I've smoked it slow. I haven't been able to pull any bite out of it at all. So, grain of salt with this tobacco reviews. Although it's a great source of knowledge and opinion, there's also a lot of personal bias in there that really, you got to be careful with reviews. Opinions are opinions, yes. Keep them as opinions. There's really no need to bash something to the extent, because then you're just showing who you are. All right, so let's start this way. You can taste the black Cavendish. You can taste the gold Cavendish. All right, the gold Cavendish gives it a nice little honey, that honey feeling. That smooth. You take a teaspoon of honey, you get that silky smooth on your tongue. You'll get that. You'll feel it. It's also very noticeable. As soon as you crack this thing open, you can see the black Cavendish. You can see the gold Cavendish. It's there. Okay? Despite what you hear, what you don't hear, it's there. Burley is there. Okay? I think it's a black Cavendish forward blend. I think black Cavendish kind of dominates the blend. I think that's what's there. Their first ingredient on their website is black Cavendish. So generally, like with food, your first ingredient is usually what's there the most. I taste it right away. Burley comes in right behind it. You can taste it. It's there. And the gold Cavendish kind of darts in and out, and it pops. You could get these little hints of honey as they come along. Now, as far as the Latakia goes, I got to try it. Since that day that I opened this, I've really been trying hard to detect the Latakia in here. Being a Latakia lover, I smoke Latakia. I love it. I smoke it straight. You guys have heard me say that before. Yesterday, for the first time, and it was on a retrohale, did I say to myself, hey, was that Latakia? Maybe that was Latakia. I still can't really detect it in here. So that tells me that it is nothing more than, they threw a pinch in there just as a condiment in the whole batch when they made it. I can't detect it. There are people in the reviews that said that they can get a little bit of it, but not me. And I think that's due in part to the fact that I do have a tendency to smoke heavier Latakia blends, so I think in the smaller proportions it's probably getting lost in the black Cavendish for my palate, for my tastes. The liquor, for me, I'd put money on it. It's rum. It's rum. How do I know? Very simple. I'm a bourbon drinker. I don't drink a lot of it, but when I choose to have a cocktail, I choose bourbon or scotch. That ain't it. There's no bourbon or scotch in here. I can tell you that. I've smoked bourbon and scotch blends. This ain't it. So, rum. First thing that came to mind. Rum. So I went and I pulled a bottle of rum out of my liquor cabinet and I poured a little shot of it and I stuffed a little smoke in one nostril and I stuffed the rum in the other nostril, and then I went right out of the tin, right out of the tub, and took a nice deep inhale of that, and then did the same thing with the shot of rum, and guess what? It's rum. There's rum in there. And it's noticeable, very noticeable. When you open up that tin, that liquor scent is the first thing that you get. Very, very pleasant. Not overpowering, not sickening by any stretch. Really, really good. What surprised me a little bit, being the high content of Cavendish that's in here, there are no vanilla hints. I can't detect any vanilla whatsoever. None. Every now and then, you get a pop of cinnamon. That cinnamon just gives you a little, like you're smoking away and all of a sudden, boom, oh, hey, that was cinnamon. Some people said they tasted clove. I think they're mixing it up with cinnamon. It's definitely cinnamon. I don't get a clove taste from that. Clove is very distinctive. It's very strong. It's very in your face. Cinnamon is more pleasant, more subdued. Not a lot of it, but it's there. It's detectable. And probably one of the best things about this, you'll notice I'm smoking this in my Burley saxophone. When I first did the review, the first time, my half-ass review, I smoked it in my exclusive aromatic saxophone because it's an aromatic. Don't want to take chances, right? You get dedicated pipes for a reason. You can smoke this in any pipe. I don't care what it is. Any of your briars, anything, it will not ghost your pipe. There will be no hint of you're done with this, you throw Burley in there all by itself, you're going to taste nothing but Burley. You won't even know that you had this stuff in there. Unbelievable. And that, in my book, makes it, being that I do keep pipes, some days I just want to smoke this pipe, this one right here. And I would never smoke an aromatic in this until now. Now if I want to go from a bowl of Velvet to a bowl of Edward G. Robinson in this pipe, perfect. One right after the other with no hints of anything. All right, and I tell you what, to me, that's A++. So, that's my more in-depth review of Edward G. Robinson. All right, I recommend it. I highly recommend it to anybody. You're going to love it. All right, Artful Codger hit it right on the head when he said this is going to be your holiday blend this year. He's right. And I'm going to need to order another tub of it very, very soon. So thanks a lot for joining me for this more intense review. And I hope you all have a great week.